I'm Christina Wright. I am fairly new on the board, one of the last to be voted on. I was the secretary, just pretty much taking notes, and have now found myself as interim president. I don't really know how everything works. I'm just getting my footing. But I have worked at the Newfane Library for at least 13 years as a tutor for the high school. And I completely agree. I love all the staff that are there. I will not comment on why they left or the board ever. I can't. But I absolutely think that they are an amazing staff. I can tell you that.
I'm Kim Shanae. I've lived in Newfane all my life. I've served on the library board for 4 years. My heart goes out to my staff. No, not my staff, your staff. We're just finding things. And if things could have been better, believe me, we would have been able, I would think, do something. The best thing that we could have done is be here right now with you guys to keep the library open. And we're just asking if you let us work for you and move it forward.
Kasperzak, I've been on board since July 1st. I'm a volunteer there. I'm retired.
Well, I'm Janelle, and you just met me today because I ran in July, and I was one vote short of being elected to the board, so I'm happy to serve. I teach special ed, and I bring my students to the library. The library is a pretty special place. My daughter's been going since she was 2. She grew up in the library. It's her favorite place. So I'm just hoping that we can keep the library going because I absolutely love it there. From every class I take to the books I check out. So I'm hoping we can just keep moving forward.
Excuse me. I'm Christine Nielsen. I've lived in Newfane almost 11 years, almost 12 years now. Raised all 3 of my children here and was lucky enough before leaving North Tonawanda, which is where I came from, to work at the library there, which was my lifelong dream. So got to do that for several months before coming on to work full-time in Newfane, and was happy to get to know the staff and community here at the Newfane Library and in the town, and did run also this last time and lost by 2 votes, but I'm hoping to help keep this library going and just happy to serve it.
My name's Kim Shanae, and I am a member of the library's board of trustees. I'm not good at public speaking, so I'm going to read to you, okay? As everyone is aware by now, the staff of the Newfane Library have resigned, followed by 4 members of the board of trustees. The outpouring of support for the library has been tremendous. We are prohibited from making any statement on staff resignations as it is a personnel issue. We can report that these resignations have nothing to do with mold, censorship, or finances. Going forward, the 3 remaining board members are dedicated to continuing the good work of the Newfane Library and keeping it open for the next generation. Since we can conduct no business with only 3 board members, Ms. Larkin has temporarily withdrawn her resignation to allow us to appoint 2 new trustees. Christine Nielsen, Janelle Dungate, followed all protocols to be on the ballot during the June election, and each garnered significant community votes. They will be appointed today and will run for election in the spring. Anyone else interested in running for the board can do so in the spring. We'll post the election procedures on our website and on Facebook in the near future. With our quorum, we'll also vote to accept the asbestos quote that will begin abatement on Monday, March 4th. The last day for the regular library business will be Thursday, February 29th. Asbestos is not a health concern at the moment, but it is one that we would like to take care of as soon as possible. Once the work is completed in the library, then it will be repainted and new carpeting will be installed. We hope to have a grand reopening sometime in April. And other exciting news we'd like to report is the construction of a new pavilion. This project is graciously supported by the local Lions Club, and once built, it'll allow the community to enjoy the outdoors while they read a book or use the library's Wi-Fi. While renovations continue, our next order of business will be to start the search for a qualified library director. It is mandated by New York State that all applicants have a Master of Library Science degree from an accredited university program. Once hired, he or she will be responsible for hiring the staff. As a public library, Newfane is required to follow Niagara County civil service procedures, so please contact civil service if you're interested in applying for these positions. We plan to keep the community informed on our progress with renovations and staffing through our webpage and the Facebook page. If you have any questions, you can contact the board at our email address, which is newfanelibrary@nioga.org. And we will try to answer all inquiries as soon as possible. Now,
Okay, thank you, Kim. So I am calling to order the Board of Trustees meeting of the Newfane Public Library. The time.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office
of the
of
office
trustee of the Newfane Public Library
of trustee of the Newfane Public Library,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
I'm from the city of Lockport, but I'm the president of the Niagara Board of Trustees, which your Newfane Public Library is one of 21 members in Niagara County, Orleans County, and Genesee County. And I want to say thank you to the trustees for getting the library back up and running. I think that's the most important thing. And looking out for a new director who can hire people from names given to us by our civil service and so forth. And the thing is, I really appreciate what you're doing because people weren't getting along. And the thing is, everybody doesn't get along with me. How many of you always get along with everybody else? Please raise your hand. Nobody does. Oh, forget it, Tom. You don't. And the thing is that the people that are sitting in front of you decided that we got to start fresh. We got to start new. And I think you've got a good board here. Remember, these people are giving up their free time, right? Every one of us has been reading lots of things. We're all concerned. What's the major thing we want? How many of you want a public library in Newfane?
Yes.
Yeah? And they're going to provide it. That's the most important thing. Let's go ahead. Let's not look back to the past and try to fight all those battles and so forth. So I want to thank every one of you for serving as a trustee. And if anyone wants to see me, come to me and say, what does NIOGA do? Why can't we tell them what to do? The thing is, the beauty of our association in the state, our 3 counties, every one of yours is autonomous. Every one of the 21 members has their own board. We just we work together on billing and things like that. So thank you very much.
Community. And I wanted to express how important the library is and hope it continues to be that liaison between community, school, and family. So thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank the remaining board members for staying strong in order to keep the library open during this transition and taking the next steps forward. I'm excited about the renovations and especially the outside components that have been added as well. So thank you.
It's mean that something has happened, though I realize that things like that happen in organizations, that something has happened, and I hope that the board, as you are getting a new staff and starting over, that you can fix whatever was the problem that started this crisis in the first place, because we would really miss this place if it doesn't work well. I know, personally, I met known the librarians, and they did seem to do a nice job for everybody. So I just hope that whoever gets to replace are as good and as competent. So thank you.
And we would like to thank you for all your comments. We absolutely will be thinking about them, acting on them. It's obvious that you all love the library as much as we do, and that's why we stayed. We're really excited about the future. It is going to be fantastic. So having no more business to conduct tonight, I need a motion to adjourn.
Well, I live in Newfane on Compton Road. Clearly, some of us came to find out some information, and this wasn't the forum, and I get that, and that's fine. I've been part of boards before. Does anyone here know where we can go to find out any information? You asked some great questions. We want to know what happened. I understand we don't want to look into the past too far, but we also want to make sure it doesn't happen in the future. Anyone know where we can find out the answers to these questions?
No, that's the problem. Well, if there's a problem, nobody's saying what it is.
I spoke to the director at NIOGA. Now, I was under the impression this meeting was at 6:30. I had proof that that's what I was told. So I'm a little disappointed I got here late. My name's Tom Quattrini. I live on Rollins Road. And I would like to know too. So I spoke to the supervisor director of NIOGA. You familiar with him? How that works and how that's connected to the library? I'm not, but that's where I'm going for my information right now. I know it's open certain nights only until the 1st of March.
Happens. I mean, I work for a large business, and we try to keep things as transparent as possible, because in the times past, there was embezzlement, there was money unaccounted for, just disappearing. I'm not saying anything like that's happening, but that's why you want to be open, right? That just makes sense to me. I can't wait for this to be public for running for this thing, because my name's going to be right on top.
Well, the
This
town
is
of
the
Newfane,
most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
the town of Newfane has no control, no authority over the town of Newfane Library. They raise their own property tax. It's collected by the school district. So I'm here to listen just as the next.
So you're finding out stuff just like we are.
Yeah, I think though that, I think the board should give a treasurer's report. I think there should be a report of the treasurer, talk about fund balance. It should talk about what the monthly expenses were.
Do you know who the treasurer of the board is, Mr. Syracuse?
No, George, I don't, George.
Well, it's just a new board. It was just newly appointed. They don't know yet.
Why are we secrecy? Why all the secrecy? That's what we like to know. We like to know.
Yeah, part of my concern is that I've had jobs before. If I were applying somewhere where all of the staff left at once, I would have no interest in working there. So it's in the best interest of the library and the public for something to calm everybody's mind so that we can actually get staff. I'm not confident we can in our current situation.
Separate, distinct organization. Legally, the Board of Regents controls this. They grant the charter and they can revoke the charter. If these folks did not volunteer, your library would be closed by the Board of Regents for 8 to 9 months until they pick the board. So these folks came in to save the library. You can come in once they get a treasurer and examine the books at any time. Their finances are on their website. They're audited. When was the last time we had an audit?
It's coming up on a year.
It's a year. They have to do it annually. So that's what we had to work with. Now, we don't know what happened. We have 2-3 sides of the story. And we're in legal grounds now. If we say the wrong thing or they say the wrong thing, guess what? I'm up the creek, or you're up the creek. Lawsuits, then you're going to see money disappear. So there's both sides. Both sides are saying this, that, and the other thing. And what they'll be doing in the coming weeks and months, trying to find out what happened. We got 3 different stories. So who do you believe? If we put that out, you're gonna say, well, I'm siding with this guy, I'm siding with this guy, because you don't know. And this was a shock to us. And I'm the executive director of the NIOGA Library System. I'm the one you talk to. But never forget, the Board of Regents controls this. The Board of Regents can close you down, and no one wants that. In a way, the support for this library is great and phenomenal. We're trying to work through the labyrinth of getting back to normal. That's all it is. You can examine the books at any time, correct? They'll give you, what, 148K annual budget?
Yes. We don't want to say for sure.
Okay,
Haven't-
but the board passes that budget. They're audited. All that's available if you come in and ask us. But give them a chance to find out what's where all is. That's all it is. You guys deserve the best library that you can get. You're paying for it. You vote on the budget. You vote on the trustees. What's more democratic than that? Assume. But
Yeah, but we would like to know what happened, because another librarian was let go years ago. And I'd like to know what happened there.
I can say something. I'm Jamie. I spend a lot of time at the library. I'm a volunteer at the library, and I know some of you by face. Here is my impressions of what happened, and I believe if the resignation letters ever become public knowledge, which I personally think they should be, the reason the staff all quit was the hostile working environment that they had. Like you said, anytime somebody from your director to the person who comes in and dusts and cleans all quit at the same time, that is a massive sign of a problem in leadership, in my opinion. Maybe that's my military background, but that's a problem. The staff was not treated very well by the board members, some of who are no longer on the board. The ones I personally witnessed would take Amy outside and yell at her. Literally raised voice yelling at her about programming or something else that, in my experience, boards are not supposed to be in the weeds of what is going on. They're supposed to be doing, but that is my opinion. I personally witnessed 3 of them yelling at Amy outside. Other people have also witnessed it on different, it was not a one-off occasion. And the staff quit for hostile working environment. So my suggestion and what I would request is if the reason for their resignation no longer exists, they should be given the opportunity to rescind their resignations. Loves that staff. And I can stand here for the next 10 hours and give you example after example of example. And people who ask me to tell you their stories have these specific staff members help them. We have staff member, she has been there and because they've been there so long, they know who likes what books, right? Like we have very lovely lady Diana, she comes in same day, every week, and she asked me to share a story that she had heart issues, and Amy and Colette, and I happen to be on Fridays usually, she could call and we'd go out to her car and pick up her books for her, check them in, and bring her new books out. And she is very, very concerned that she is going to lose that. And this community, I think by who's here and from what people were saying on Facebook and in the newspapers and everything else, this community loves that particular staff. And if the reason for the resignations no longer exists, we should ask them if they want to stay.
Absolutely.
we got A, B, C, D out there, people witnessing this, people witnessing that. And then the last board meeting I went to, I was just auditing it for the state, making sure minimum standard permit, the announcement of the meeting was correct. And all of a sudden, we were hearing this stuff. Then the board was going into executive session at the last board meeting, and the whole staff resigns. So that says one thing. Then the board members are saying something different. We have 4 resignations. So where's the balance and where's the middle? That's what we have to figure out. I can understand what you're saying.
Resigned too.
Pardon?
Some board members resigned.
Yeah, 4 out of the 7, that's what I'm saying. And the reason why they resigned, some of them, were the threats that they were getting. either on their phone, on the website, stuff like that. So we have this spaghetti. Who's saying what? I'm not disagreeing with you or agreeing with you. I got the four legitimate board members that resigned, even though they've been on service for several years. Then I have the community, some of the community supposedly leaving messages on their cell phone and on your listserv. So, and then some of them are not advised to come to the library because they're afraid they can't guarantee the damn security at a stinking public library. What do you expect?
But what about the employees? They're still coming to work and having to deal with the board and everyone else that's still there. They're not getting any protection from anyone.
The protection is the four that may have been causing the issues are no longer there. You have a completely new board.
There isn't a completely new board. There's still 3 people that were on board prior to the resignation.
And I think they're a lot better than the board that resigned.
That's your opinion, though. That's not anyone that's here's opinion. And with the employees, isn't it up to the board to decide whether they accept the resignation of the employees or not? Because
They've already been accepted.
so the board has accepted it. So they don't want these employees to come back to work.
No, you have four, you've worked on it, board. I have 4 people, or they have 4 people who resigned for whatever reason, hostile and this. The other guy said, wonderful library, we wish him well and all that. So what do they do? What choice do they have?
That's a choice they can make.
Tell them go to the Niagara County Civil Service and start the process.
They deserve that. They were mistreated. That's what they deserve. This whole thing has not been transparent from day one. A lot of lies, a lot of cover-ups. That's the way our government works. We don't want it to be like our government. We want the truth to come out about what's happened. And I think they deserve to have a second chance back at their jobs because they did a good job.
Yeah, they should.
That's an option, but my first job was to keep the library open, which it is. We had to get 2-3 people to come out and serve on the board.
Well, thank you for that, but let's move on and let's talk about it.
Yeah. But I want this.
But you still need a library director.
Right.
Right, and she'll make the final determination.
Yeah.
So,
And they have to follow civil service points. You're not letting the refresh board get your library up and going so you can be back in business in April. Yeah, be nice if we can go back and everybody know the story, but just sitting around, I don't think any of us are going to know the story. We're just all going to say things to various different people. Let these people move forward. You're concerned about the money. You've now found out how you can do that. Also remember, the school district has nothing to do with the library other than having the vote. It's called a school district library. It's hard for me to realize this because I live in one in Lockport. That's the border of the people that you serve that can be taxed for this library. If you live in Barker, you don't pay taxes, but because you belong to NIOGA, you can use any one of our 21 libraries within the system. And you also can get books from all of them. You've got hundreds of thousands of books that are available, but let them get back. I don't think, I'd like to know what happened too. People ask me. I don't think you're really going to find.
Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, you heard, but you're still not satisfied. But you have to follow the rules.
So what I've been told though is that the board has the option to not accept the resignation of the staff. So if they have that right, then why are they not denying the resignation? Well, it wouldn't matter if the meeting was open at this point. I mean,
You're saying they're not going to hire them. You're not giving them the chance.
Okay. Why haven't they done it already then?
They couldn't do it already because you have
They were just elected, they just switched.
Even with Carolyn Larkin coming back to have 4 members?
Yeah, to 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, they did have 4 with Carolyn, didn't they?
Yeah, that's only 5.
I need a,
No, he just said 4.
you need a director, because the director will. These people can reapply, they can go through.
We had to find, in order to save the library and keep it open, we had to find a fourth person to rescind their resignation. And the other 3 didn't want it because they didn't feel safe. Real or imagined, I can't comment on that. So she was good enough to come back and hold a legal meeting where they could appoint these 2. So now you have a governing board who can move on and hopefully answer some of your questions. If they didn't do it, and if she didn't come back, you don't want the Board of Regents in here telling you what to do in terms of big government, but that's how the system is. So we got the board, they're open for comments. Please don't make negative remarks and call their cell phones. I mean, it was awful. I'll tell you that right now. It was awful. And whoever did that should be ashamed of themselves. This is a library trying to meet the community needs. And for whatever reason, no one was killed, no one was this, whatever the reason is, but none of these guys deserve that type of distrust and disrespect.
But the staff didn't deserve that either.
Pardon?
The staff didn't deserve to be treated that way either.
Yeah, and if that's the 4 irritants that resigned, that's gone. Okay, that irritant doesn't exist. So let these guys try to ferret this out. But again, you don't want the Board of Regents to interfere. You don't want them to take control of your library.
Are there currently 4 or 5 board members with the 2 new ladies?
There's 5
There's 5, so there will be 2 positions open.
additional, right, when we vote, right.
Oh, and they have to run again. Okay,
Right.
so there will be 4 positions to run for.
Right.
So I would like to end this meeting.
Oh.
There is an email, newfanelibrary@nioga.org. You guys can email me and the rest of the staff any questions, and we will answer. Or Amy, if any of you know me personally, we can talk and I can get you some answers.